Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Addie and today we are doing the mid-year tag. I just love reflecting. I love, like, at the end of the year, my favorite videos to do are always like the favorite books of the year, all the like the end of year stuff. So I'm kind of excited to get a little bit of that in the middle of the year and just take a step back and think about the books that I have read so far this year. And while collecting the books for this challenge, it was really nice to like look back and like what I read in like March, February, and January, because like kind of don't even think about those books as like books I've read this year, and like I haven't thought about them in a while, and it was nice to like look back and be like, oh my gosh, no, like I loved that book. Like that was like, that's probably my favorite book of the year. It's crazy just to look back and like kind of get a fuller view of my year in reading, because I feel like releases come out so fast. The pace of book talk is just so fast. Sometimes it's nice to like take a step back and think about the things that I have accomplished this year and the things I have read this year, because it's so hard not to get caught up in like the, oh, you haven't done enough. But I am definitely very excited to get into this challenge. So without further ado, let's just get into it. The first question is, what is the best book you have read so far this year? And I have quite a few, I cannot lie. I'm also, all these questions have like multiple answers. I'm so indecisive and I can't pick a favorite. I actually have 6 answers for this. Gun to my head, I had to pick, it would be Sunrise on the Reaping. This book just like changed my view of the Hunger Games, and the Hunger Games is like one of my favorite series. I grew up with it, so like getting a new Hunger Games book is always like so nostalgic for me anyway. And then it was also just a fabulous book, so it had a lot of things working for it. And this was Hamish's story, which was so enlightening to see, connected so many dots of like why he is the way he is. It connected like dots in the Hunger Games plot line anyway. I just loved this book. I'm dying for it to be a movie, and it just had me so captivated, and I became obsessed with the Hunger Games for a few weeks. Some honorable mentions though for the year that were also just like 6-star reads were, the first was Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna. It wouldn't be a wrap up for me without a Kristen Hanna book on my list. The way she just writes, it just like does something for me. I think it's her characters. She writes them in a way that's just so easy to connect with them. Like that you can find yourself in any Kristen Hanna character. But this one really followed female friendship and got into the really nitty-gritty intricacies of friendship, and I really enjoyed that. And then the two characters, they grew up together. It spans over the years of like their whole lifetimes. Like you see them be best friends throughout their entire lives, and it's just, it was so beautiful, and I absolutely love this book. Another honorable mention is The Winners by Frederick Backman. This was just the most heartbreaking, perfect, beautifully written conclusion of any series I've ever read. I fell in love with Frederick Backman's writing this year, and this just really cemented it for me. This is definitely my favorite Frederick Backman book. His characters, the way he writes, is just so magnetic. It's so beautiful. I never thought I would fall so deeply in love with a book about hockey in a small Alaskan town, but he did it. He made me in love with all of the characters. He made me feel like I was there. And then I also went through a phase where I felt like I really wanted to move to Alaska. It has to be a really good book if it makes me want to move to the bitter cold. Another one of my favorites this year is The Will of the Many by James Islington. This is one of my new all-time favorite fantasy reads. Loved this one. I think it's one of the best built fantasy worlds I've ever read about. Maybe besides like Brandon Sanderson level, like those are still #1 for me. It's just insane how intricate this world was, and the ending blew my mind. This world, it requires a hierarchy of pulling will, like the will, like your strength, determination, focus out of the people below you, and then it kind of goes up into a pyramid, and like the people at the top are just like almighty, all powerful. It has everything you want in a fantasy. It has a really great magic system. It has power dynamics. It has a elite academy, really well developed characters. It had a insane plot twist at the end. I just loved every moment of this book, and I am so excited for the second one. Other books that I have left at my apartment, so I don't have them with me, that are amazing reads of the year. This one took me out of pure left field. It is Conditions of Will by Jessa Hastings. I like the Magnolia Park series. I really enjoy it. I would say it's up there with one of my favorites. I hated Never. I hated it. And I was like, I was a little nervous about reading another one of her standalones, but this one, besides Daisy Hates, this might be my new all-time favorite Jessa Hastings book. It is so good. She finally wrote a man that's not completely atrocious and unlikable. We Live, Love, Sam Penny. I actually really enjoyed the main character of this too. Like, she was really interesting because she could like read people so well. It was like a science to her. It's basically about this girl, and she was booted from her home, like her southern home. She was basically ousted by her family, but then her father dies and she has to go back to her god-awful family. That's all I'll say. It was just so good. The writing was beautiful. The characters were so intricate. Everything I loved out of a Jessa Hastings book was all just like smushed into one, and I loved it. Lastly, my last favorite book of the year is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford. This was probably my biggest, like one of my biggest anticipated releases of the year. It was the closing to my favorite romance series, the Windy City series, and it delivered. It might be my favorite Windy City series book out of all of them, which is crazy because I never thought anything could dethrone The Right Move, but this one did. Rio was the most perfect, sweetest, kindest man. Hallie was such a perfect main character. It was a childhood best friends to lovers to exes to lovers romance. It was a second chance. That's what the trope is I'm looking for. Ugh, it put me in a slump. I'm still kind of reeling from the slump it put me in because like nothing is comparing to it right now. That is why I didn't read that much in June. So if you want something to blame, it's this book. The next question is, what is the best sequel you've read this year? And I have a couple set aside for this one. And also I'm trying not to repeat too much because I know that can get kind of boring, but I'm gonna try not to repeat too many books. And for best sequel, I will say Us Against You, which is the second book in the Beartown book trilogy. Just love these books. This is the only one that wasn't a full 5-star series, but it did set up immaculately for the third one. The third book would not have been as perfect as it was without the setup that was built here. So I think that there is something to say for how well this book was written, and I just absolutely loved every second of it. I'm definitely gonna need a reread of these books, and these are ones that I have not been able to stop thinking about. Another favorite sequel was Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I didn't like it as much as I liked the second one or the first one, I will say. However, it was still an Emily Wilde book, and I still got to see my favorite characters, and I got to see them up to their antics, and I just absolutely adored it. And I feel like it was a really great closing to the series, which I didn't know was going to be a last one. And then that was really hard for me to grapple with. I just love these books. They're so atmospheric, so cozy, and they just make me so happy. And then another sequel is An Unexpected Peril by Deanna Raybourn. This is the 6th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. It's in my top 3 of favorite books in this series. I absolutely adored it. I think I read this at the perfect time too. I read it like when it was like the dead of winter, and like this very much romanticized like those wintry vibes, and like I feel like this was pure like Veronica Speedwell like to its core. This one was like looking for a lost princess, pulling like the ultimate scheme. She was disguising herself as like the lost princess. It was just, ugh, I loved this one. This was so good. The next question is, what is your biggest disappointment of the year? I have 3, and just because they're disappointments doesn't necessarily mean that they were bad books. It's just I had higher expectations for them than what was delivered. I think that being said, that definitely applies to this first book, which is Rebel Witch by Kristen Ciccarelli. Listen, I loved Heartless Hunter. You guys know it was in my like favorite yearly wrap up. I love these books. This one, like, it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't a bad sequel. The romance was absolutely giving. The plot that kind of fell apart a little bit for me, like it was very predictable. I just couldn't bring myself to care that much, and I feel like it wasn't as well executed as the first one. But that being said, it's not a bad book. I wouldn't dissuade you from reading this duology because it's absolutely worth the read. It's a great romantasy. I just think I had higher expectations for the sequel. This book, I just didn't like. I'm gonna be so honest with you. I just didn't like it. I didn't think I was going to like it, but I thought I'd try, and I just didn't. And I didn't finish it either. So I guess take what I say with a grain of salt. But it is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I really did enjoy Powerless. I had my issues with it. Like, looking back, there are some issues with it that like I probably wouldn't rate it as highly as I would if I read it now. But I did really enjoy my time while I was reading it. I enjoyed it. But then Reckless, it was just so boring. Then nothing happened. And then I was like, you know what though? Maybe it was like one of those like filler books. That's fine. I don't agree with filler books, but okay. I was like, whatever. I was like, okay, I'll go into Fearless. I was just so, like, I'm already so bored. I don't care. I don't love her style of writing. I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me, and I just don't care. And I wish I did, but I don't. And I wish I could like be on this train like everyone else is. I wish I could love these books as like everyone else seems to love them, but like I just don't. And it was putting me in a slump, so I put this aside. And then lastly, this was a surprise. Again, this is like, it's not a bad book, but it is Imposter by Deanna Raybourn. This is just my least favorite in the Veronica Speedwell series, kind of by a long shot. It felt a little off-brand for the characters, and I think that's where it kind of lost me a bit. Like, we found our way back in the later books, but it felt like there was kind of an unneeded conflict that was happening. I didn't really care that much about the mystery. It wasn't my favorite, but I still enjoyed it because it's Veronica and Stoker, but I was just disappointed in the sense that I didn't like it as much as I liked the other Veronica books. But when I do my reread eventually of these books, will it be included? Absolutely. The next question is, what are some of your anticipated releases that you have not read yet? And I have quite a few. I've accumulated a lot in the last like month. There's been so many new drops that I've been so excited about, and I will be getting to them soon. I'm so excited. The first one is Sounds Like Love by Ashley Poston. I will be reading this very soon in another vlog. I love Ashley Poston's writing. I've loved all of her other romances. I love her magical realism that she puts in the romances. The way she writes is like a warm cup of coffee. It's just so beautiful, and I'm so excited to read one that's centered around music. I think that'll be really interesting, so I'm very, very excited to get to this. My favorite thriller author also just dropped a new book, and it is With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. His books have always been hits for me. I didn't love his last release, actually. I really loved it up until the end, which was kind of crazy. But he's written my favorite thrillers of all time. But so obviously I had to immediately pick up With a Vengeance. This one seems interesting because it's like, it seems more mystery-esque than thriller. I think it says One Train, No Stops, A Deadly Games of Survival and Revenge, and it's set in 1942, which is very different than what he normally does, so I'm very excited to get to this one. He's always delivers a fun read, so I'm excited. Another new release that I have yet to get to is Overgrowth by Mira Grant. This is going to be read very shortly. I've been so excited about this. I absolutely loved her last book, Into the Drowning Deep, so I have been very excited to get to her book about alien invasions. The way she writes sci-fi is, I'm not huge on the sci-fi genre, but like the way she does it is so like scientific, and it makes me believe the things that she's saying. So I'm so excited to see what she's got to say about aliens. Another drop that I was very, very excited about is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. She's written some of my favorite books of all time, and this is her first step away from like the old Hollywood kind of vibe. I'm very, very excited to read. I think this is about astronauts. So I just love her writing. The way she story tells is just magnificent. She's like one of my like will always buy authors, like auto buy. Very excited to get to this one. Another auto buy author that I'm very excited about is V.E. Schwab's new Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. This one I am so excited about. I can't even express how excited I am for this one. It spans over 500 years. It's a vampire book, which we all know how I feel about vampires. I love anything vampire books. Her writing is just always does it for me. I don't think I've ever rated any of her books anything lower than a 4-star. Addie LaRue is one of my favorite books of all time. People say the writing is very on par with Addie LaRue with this one, so excited to get this. I might save it for Summerween, but I'm not quite sure. Oh my gosh, there's oh, I thought there were illustrations. It's just like cool artwork inside, but I'm so excited. So the next question is, what are your most anticipated releases for the second half of the year? And there are so many that I'm so excited about. The first one is The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I loved The Spell Shop by her, and I read that last year, and it was so cozy, so whimsical, was just like comfort in a book. So I'm very excited to read her next book. Cozy fantasy is definitely a hit or miss for me, but like when it hits, and the other one hit, and I'm so excited. And her covers are just beautiful, so I'm very excited to get my hands on this. I don't think this is connected to The Spell Shop, that where like you have to read The Spell Shop to read this one, but I do think they're kind of like set in the same like Island. If you want to read this, I think The Spell Shop is definitely worth your read, but I am so excited for this release. My next very highly anticipated release is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I love Stephanie Garber. Caraval and Once Upon a Broken Heart are some of my favorite fantasies of all time. It feels like a fairy tale. Like, they give me that same feeling I got like watching like Beauty and the Beast when I was little, like fairy tales like that. The way she writes is just so perfect, and I am so excited for her new release. I've been dying to get my hands on her writing again, and this one is the start to a new series. It says it starts with a class in an old movie theater, Folklore 517, local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense. Except the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight tomorrow unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into the magical heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. That just sounds so good. I would read her grocery list, but this sounds phenomenal. It's definitely going to be on my October TBR. And then the next book that I'm so excited to get to is The Strength of a Few by James Islington, which is the sequel to The Will of the Many, and I have been coveting an arc of this for so long, but that does not look like it's going to happen, so we will be waiting until November when this comes out. When I do get my hands on this, it will be read immediately. I am so excited for this book. The ending of The Will of the Many left on such a cliffhanger. I am dying to see what happens next. And then the last book that I am so excited about also comes out July 15th is A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping, and I'm just so excited about this book because I read A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches last October, and it was such a great witchy romance, and I love myself a witchy romance, and I thought that was so cute and so whimsical, and I am so excited for her next book, and that comes out very soon. I don't know if it's like summery, so I probably will be reading it soon. I kind of associate witchy romances fall, but the cover looks very like summery, so I'll probably read that very soon. The next question is, what was your biggest surprise of this year? And I think what takes the cake for this is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. Like, there's no other book that shocked me this much this year, just because I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, because like I like Ali Hazelwood. I enjoy her writing. I've enjoyed her books in the past, but like her last few haven't really been hitting for me, and I wasn't really expecting much out of this because like it's kind of like a darker romance, but it's also like a sports romance, which I love sports romances. I didn't think I'd enjoy like kind of the darker elements around it, but this was so entertaining, and it kind of brought me out of a slump a little bit. And this was kind of like an impulse buy. I didn't really have that many plans of reading it. It was really good. Like, the chemistry between the characters was phenomenal. The plot line was phenomenal. The only reason I gave a point off, I think, was because I didn't like how much like the guy's ex was in this book. It was a little overpowering, but I was so entertained. Like, I was gripped from front to back. This is what I mean when I'm like, give me a gripping romance, and this is what delivered. So I was very excited for this one, and I just was not expecting to like it anywhere as much as I thought I would. The next question is, who is your new favorite author of the year? And I have found a few new amazing authors that have bumped their way to the top for me. The first is Frederick Backman. I think he is my absolute favorite. I've read 4 of his books this year already. I just love, like, I've loved every single one of them. His writing is just so unique. It almost has like a childlike essence to it, and it's just refreshing to like get something new when you read so many books. And then the next question is, who is your new favorite character? And I have quite a few new favorite characters, and the first one is Rio from Rewind It Back. He's just peak male main character book boyfriend. He is so good, just perfect from start to finish, and he's just like so like kind, so golden retriever kind, and like I just love him. And then another favorite character is Maya from Beartown. She is one of my favorite female main characters I've ever read. She is so strong, she is so resilient. The growth that she goes through throughout all 3 books, the strength she has through all 3 books, she's just phenomenal. And I just, coming from a male author, I wasn't expecting him to like be able to write female characters so intricately and like in such a delicate manner. I feel like he just absolutely nailed it, and I absolutely adored her character and seeing how she progressed throughout these books. we have a little visitor for you came in. So another favorite character that I have discovered this year is Kite from the Poppy War series. He's just he's a side character. He is so sweet, so kind, and I'm reading the Dragon Republic right now and I'm just like loving his character again. He's just so sweet. He's so smart. He's so kind. He's a nice refreshing break from like the like warrior men. Like you can be like just quiet and gentle and still have a place in a fantasy book, and I love him. He's so sweet and he's so like cute and I love him. And then what is a book that made you cry this year? And it takes kind of a lot for me to cry during a book. I think the closest I have come to crying with books this year is Sunrise Over the Reaping and The Winners. I already talked a lot. I've talked a lot about these books, but the endings of both of them were just so heartbreaking. So these two did get a few tears from me. The next question is a book that made you happy. Oh, he's chewing my toes. My cat is eating my toe right now. Thank you, Fergie. Thank you. So a book that made me happy this year was by far no competition. The book that made me the happiest is In Company of Witches by Arali Wallace. This was the cutest cozy mystery in the entire world. This is the cutest book in the entire world. This is a cozy mystery about 3 witches who run an inn together, but they all specialize in different things. And when a guest dies at their B&B, she has to investigate to clear her aunt's name of this murder. And it is so cute. The small town is immaculate. This one's fall. I wish I could like read it for the first time again this fall. The fall vibes were some of the best atmospheric vibes I've ever read. I need her to come out with more of these books. I need another one. Please, Arali Wallace, I'm begging you. They are so cute and so whimsical, and I had the biggest smile on my face the entire time, and I was just obsessed. I love these books. So definitely very, very happy reading this one. The next question is, what is the best book to movie adaptation you've watched this year? Basic answer, had to pick it, is The Hunger Games. After reading Sunrise Over the Reaping, I really wanted to watch The Hunger Games, and I rewatched them all. I was very happy I did. It really just sparked that need, and those movies are just so good. So they're some of my favorite movies of all time. So I had to go with those. I haven't really watched any other this year. I mean, it would have been my answer anyway, but I only have really watched any other books movie adaptations. And the next question is, what are the most beautiful books you have acquired this year? And this is without a doubt the Poppy War and Dragon Republic special editions. I could go on and on and on about these editions, and I feel like nothing does them justice about how perfect they are. The edges are beautiful. The cover art is beautiful with like the gold foiling, and just with the first one, and it has it in the second one too, like there are the most beautiful, you're not seeing, why do they never show it when I flip through it, but there are so many, there you go, there's the most beautiful illustrations in this book. The pages are so luxurious. Like everything about reading these editions just elevates the reading experience, and they're so good, and I'm obsessed with these books. The cover is just so beautiful. So by far the most beautiful books I've acquired this year. And then the last question is, what are books that you need to read by the end of the year? And one of them, and is one that I have been putting off, it is Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson. That is the next book that I need to read in the Stormlight Archive series, and it's just over 1,000 pages long, and I'm scared of it. I love the Stormlight Archives though, and like I need to at least be reading one a year. I haven't read mine this year yet, and I need to. I said I was going to do it this summer. I don't know if that's fully gonna happen, but I'll at least start it this summer. I need to get going on it because I know it's gonna take me a while, because I read other books while I read it. But I absolutely love Brandon Sanderson, and I am slowly but surely making my way through that Cosmere. Another book that I need to get to by the end of the year is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I told myself I was going to start a classic this year, and I was going to start reading the Austen books this year, and this is one goal that I need to stick to, and I want to be more like literate in like a way that like I've read like classics. So like I have Pride and Prejudice, I need to read it, and I just really want to read more classics in general. I want to get into like the Jane Austen world. So Pride and Prejudice seems to be a really good place to start, and especially because I have it. I might rebuy it though, because I think what's stopping me is I hate the edition I have. I really hate it. I'm never gonna display it. I got it for like 50 cents at like a high school book fair. I think I might just rebuy it, and that will encourage me to actually read it. So that brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments below what you have been reading this year, what your thoughts on your year so far, what your favorite book is. Just let's discuss books in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's video. I appreciate each and every one of you who sticks by me and sticks by my channel, and thank you guys so much for whoever is subscribed, and thank you so much to my subscribers who support me. It means the world to me, and I know this first half of the year has been a little bumpy, so everyone who supports me and my channel, I love you guys endlessly. Thank you guys so much. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to everyone who watched this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If there's any other videos you would like to see from me, please comment them down below. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and I hope you guys have such a fabulous week, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.